My name is Megha Shrivastava. I am a resident doctor at Mount Sinai. Today, we're going to talk about long COVID. What is long COVID? Long COVID is the same as like a lot of things you might be hearing: post-COVID conditions, PCC. Sometimes doctors will say chronic COVID. It's basically talking about symptoms that have been caused by COVID that are ongoing. So you had the COVID infection, and then for a month after that, you're still having some symptoms. There's really a wide range of symptoms and conditions that people have experienced from COVID-19. Some people will completely recover. The majority, 70% or more, will recover and not have any symptoms. But there is this amount of people, like 5 to 30% of people, who have the original COVID infection that develop long COVID symptoms. So, and we'll talk about the symptoms in a second, but the symptoms can be very variable, from mild to more severe and debilitating symptoms. Still kind of a new concept, or long COVID is a new concept, but itself is new in terms of like medical history. Still like a lot of ongoing data from the medical community of learning about what long COVID is and what the risks are and how to treat it and all of that. But we'll talk about what's out there right now and what we do know and how we can help and prevent and treat and all of that. It's like 4 more weeks. Like sometimes COVID infection itself, an acute COVID infection, can still last about, like, you can have symptoms for about a month. But after it gets past that 1 month mark, you should be recovering. Your symptoms should be kind of getting better. Like maybe you'll have a few lingering symptoms that might kind of qualify as long COVID, and it might take a little bit longer to get better. But if it's kind of going past that 1 month mark, past a 2 month mark, some people are like, long COVID, you only really consider it after 3 months, where it's like, really, that means you're really having chronic symptoms from the COVID infection. Then that's where you like really want to get treated. But I would say after 1 month, if you're having a lot of symptoms, like more than just a cough, because the cough can last honestly like 2 months from COVID. But if it's like a severe cough, and you don't feel like you're noticing anything getting like better, then that's probably a time to go see a doctor about it. Talk to your primary care doctor about it. So common symptoms that people say they experience from long COVID after those 4 weeks is brain fog, is probably like the biggest one, and fatigue and post-exertional malaise. That kind of like goes along with malaise, is like tiredness as well. Like especially like noticing that since prior to your COVID infection, you were like totally like you can go run a mile and feel fine. But like now, after like even a few months of getting COVID, you're noticing that you actually still have constant fatigue, headaches, tremor, palpitations, dizziness, muscle pain. There's 200 or more symptoms that could be. It's such a broad thing that kind of makes it challenging in a lot of ways. And so for what your doctor does when you do come and see them and you're like, I'm concerned, I had COVID and like these symptoms aren't going away, sometimes doctors will say like, okay, it's been a month and a half, you had symptoms of like really bad headaches with only COVID. You never had headaches before that. You had headaches with COVID and you're still having it. This is clearly from COVID. Then they'll kind of give you that diagnosis more right away. But sometimes it's like so vague. You're like, I have palpitations and like I feel like this is from COVID. Like it's gotten worse since COVID. COVID itself, it can be a very like strong illness itself. It can kind of exacerbate some other illnesses too, or some other things you're having. So it can cause symptoms, and then like if you already had some like palpitations, some heart issues before, like it can kind of make that persistent or worse. But it may not necessarily be from the COVID virus. It may just be from having that cold and your body not being able to like recuperate and like not being able to do the normal things that to like make your heart better. So you might just like have palpitations from that. So it's important to kind of be evaluated by a doctor, because there can be so many symptoms that long COVID can cause, but a lot of those symptoms may also be from something else, maybe peripherally related to the COVID infection, from like not being able to like move around for a few weeks, but maybe not necessarily directly from that virus, if that makes sense. 1 in 5 adults that had the COVID illness, this is like an estimate for right now, that they may have like a health condition of like long COVID. When I'm saying all these symptoms, it doesn't mean you have all of the symptoms. It means that you have even like one symptom or something from the COVID-19 infection. But really relating that and understanding that it's from the COVID-19 infection that you had is really something that a healthcare provider needs to assess. And oftentimes they'll do all these other tests to make sure like your thyroid's normal and like everything else is normal, to like exclude any other causes for what you're experiencing if you have symptoms that are concerning for long COVID. So when you do go to a doctor, I'm mentioning this because I've seen this a lot of patients being frustrated, being like, I know this is long COVID, but like my doctor's doing all these other tests, but I already know it's long COVID. And that's reasonable. And you probably are right. But a lot of physicians have to exclude other things. A lot of other things are sometimes like thyroid and all of that, sometimes easier to treat. It's just better to know exactly what it is and make sure we're excluding any other reasons for the symptoms that you're experiencing. The people that are most at risk for long COVID, both adults and children can be affected, but it's more common in adults. And especially the CDC assessment a few months ago had found that it was most common, on the highest rates of people that had long COVID were between the ages of 35 and 49, which is very young and surprising. That's what they had found. But even still, even though those are the highest rates, and that might just be because that's the highest amount of people that have like gotten COVID, the elderly are still very at risk for it, and women as well. And definitely huge risk if you are unvaccinated for COVID. Additionally, you're higher risk to get long COVID if you had a severe COVID infection that puts you in the hospital. It isn't just a risk if for people that were hospitalized, but that does put you at risk for having symptoms that are lasting longer. Multi-system inflammatory syndrome, I know that's a big word. It's like a syndrome that children and adults can experience from COVID acutely. So that's when you have an acute COVID infection. And that also, if you had experienced that or the child has experienced that, then they are at higher risk compared to the general population of long COVID. And then also having underlying health conditions, specifically diabetes, asthma, and obesity. And then they have found that the Latinx population is also at higher risk of developing long COVID symptoms. So what causes it? We actually don't really know. Some doctors have theorized or like kind of thought of different reasons that it could potentially be happening. And it's most likely one of these reasons. So one of them is that the virus just never really left. It's kind of like hiding out in some of your organs and still producing that immune response. A lot of the symptoms that you're getting and the symptoms that you experience are not so much from the virus itself, like punching all your organs. It's really from your body's immune response to battle that virus. And your body focuses its energy on getting rid of that virus that produces a lot of these uncomfortable symptoms. Having like a little bit of that virus or remnants of the virus still there that's kind of continues to produce that immune response in your body. The other thing that some people think are like reactivation of latent virus. So the virus may be dead in your body. Sometimes this can happen where like you may have the virus that's dead, you may be testing negative, and then it like reactivates for some reason. And then the other thing is an autoimmune response. So your body like saw that virus, got rid of it, and the virus isn't there, but it's still producing that immune response on its own. And then the other proposed thing is that there's organ damage. So you were in the hospital, you had really bad cough, you got rid of the virus entirely from your body, but your organs that were affected by the virus originally never really recovered and then continue to have those symptoms. So it's really unknown on what really is happening with long COVID. It's a variation for people. A lot of people will be testing negative by the time they have long COVID symptoms. So that means that they may not have an active viral infection, but it may be more like they have this like latent virus or this like just remnants of the virus that are not the full live virus. And so for diagnosing, like we talked about a little bit, there is not a single test to actually test for it. It's based on the original COVID-19 test and testing positive and having that confirmation, or kind of like even like clinically, if you had a lot of symptoms and a lot of like things that make us suspicious that you had COVID-19, even if you didn't test yourself, then that kind of persisting on and excluding other causes of the symptoms you're experiencing, that would be a diagnosis for long COVID. So there's no like blood test compared to like what I mentioned, like thyroid and like other illnesses where we're able to see in your blood or see in your urine and be like, oh yeah, you have this. Unfortunately, there's not that test for long COVID. Medical knowledge and medical research is always ongoing, and there are a lot of efforts around long COVID because a lot of people are experiencing it. So hopefully we'll maybe one day have a test, something a little bit more substantial to be able to really diagnose. But right now it's really from clinically, from the doctor excluding other causes, testing for other things and saying, okay, this isn't from anything else. These are symptoms that clearly started that you didn't have before you had COVID, and now they're getting worse or they're ongoing and you clearly had COVID at some point. So this must be long COVID. If you're having specific symptoms like breathing issues that are ongoing, there's specific testing as well and imaging, like pulmonary function tests that are specific to like what you're experiencing and those symptoms. And that can help gauge whether there's medications or things that we can do or like specific types of physical therapy that will help you. Treating it, there's physical therapy and counseling. And I think a lot of patients of mine sometimes like hear physical therapy and they're like, that doesn't solve anything. And for some things it may not, but for a lot of things when it comes to long COVID, we've seen a lot of of patients that are able to get better from physical therapy. And physical therapy is not all one and the same. There's so many different types. There's so many different types of exercises and things that are really catered to what you're experiencing and what the doctor has diagnosed you with. For physical therapy, there's also like chest physical therapy, if it is like a breathing issue, and other different kinds of things. It's a very important thing to value physical therapy and to remind yourself your body is very subjective to how you move it and how you work with it. And it can be night and day with how much it can actually change your physiology and what's going on inside of it. And it doesn't feel like it because you're like, I'm just pulling this band. Doing things like exercises long term, like you will notice it'll strengthen certain things. And some other ways of treating, so if there's memory issues, like smelling issues from long COVID, there's also different types of memory exercises and olfactory training that your doctor can talk to you more about and refer you to people who are specialized in that. That's another thing to know. The people that are running these things, that do physical therapy, that do memory exercises and this type of training, they've all spent years learning how to do this stuff. It's very based on real evidence and real things that help people, even though it can feel like it's just an exercise, but it makes a huge difference. Pulmonary cardiac neurologic rehabilitation is the go-to for people that are experiencing long COVID symptoms related to their lungs, heart, and or neurologic symptoms that they have. And so rehabilitation, that'll combine physical therapy and some of these other exercises as well, and also usually involve physicians. There's a whole specific realm of physicians called PMNR physicians, and those are like basically physical rehabilitation physicians. There's physical therapists that do their own training, and then there's also physicians that do physical therapy training like related to medicine as well. And physical therapy itself is related to medicine, but it's like those are physicians that have kind of like specialized in a wide breadth of different types of physical therapy and rehabilitation practices. That's just to say there's a lot when it comes to physical therapy. They're not all one and the same. And then medication for symptoms. So there's really no medication for long COVID itself, unfortunately, compared with like, now we have Paxlovid for acute COVID. That won't help with long COVID. And there's no real medication that helps with long COVID. And part of that is because we still don't fully know what is happening in long COVID, like whether the virus is still there or it's really like organ damage. So the medication for symptoms is more like, and that's something to talk more specifically about your symptoms with your doctor of what medications you can take. There's some things where like for people that have had like ongoing chest inflammation and they're able to see that on imaging, like maybe we can give you some anti-inflammatory medication for that, like NSAIDs. So there's been a few things like that, but a lot of that data and a lot of like medication, it's symptom specific. So it really depends on when you see your doctor and how you're evaluated. And unfortunately, there's just like no real medication that can fully treat all of the symptoms. And a lot of it is this rehabilitation and doing symptom management, possibly with medication, if we find that it is something that may benefit from certain symptom specific medications. So the biggest thing to avoid getting long COVID is getting your up-to-date COVID-19 vaccines. And like a lot of you guys know, if you're higher risk, if you are an older adult, even if you got your vaccine in 2023 in the fall, likely due for another one. So making sure you stay up to date on them. And we feel like COVID is like not as frequently out there, but it's still very much out there. And long COVID is a huge risk. And so it's important to keep continuously getting vaccinated and staying up to date on it. It's just the nature of how our body responds to things and how vaccines are. And then the other thing, good hygiene, hand washing, masks, sanitizers, taking precautions if you have a viral cold to protect others as well, wearing masks, and then also treating your COVID-19 illness as well. They say that there's not data that shows that taking Paxlovid necessarily will decrease your risk of long COVID, but I personally feel like we know that like if you have severe COVID-19, then you are more likely to get long COVID. So being able to avoid that severe illness can still prevent you from kind of escalating those symptoms. And then cleaner air, that's sometimes an unfortunately hard thing to really come by in our city and especially in East Harlem. But thinking about, getting air purifiers and that just being a good preventive measure, and also important for asthma and other respiratory illnesses as well. These are free clinics, and I think they're also available through the Health Action Center website. I also wanted to just mention for Mount Sinai, there's these two post-COVID. I think there's a third one too, but I only included these two because they're in Manhattan, and this one's in East Harlem. And they just recently, I'd found out they're starting to accept uninsured and Medicaid and Medicare. They previously weren't. So something to consider calling, confirm that with them as well. Something to think about if you are having a lot of symptoms. But I would say first, if you're really like, I don't really know, like maybe I have long COVID, I would say first talk to your primary care doctor then, and they can get a better sense and do do some of the preliminary testing before you go to like a specialist. Your primary care doctor will help you kind of get into a specialist too. Hopefully you won't need to actually see a specialist, and hopefully you won't have symptoms that are that bad. But if you are having long COVID symptoms and need care for it, this is a good resource.
One of the things about long COVID that's so hard, like you said, is like, that it's emerging. We're still learning all these things about it. And some of the things that we're learning are coming from, I mean, much of what we're learning is coming from the symptoms of people that experience long COVID, which can be, I think, frustrating sometimes for people that don't know what it is. And, we're worried about like, there not being a specific test for it. So I think it's really important that we talk about this being really real, and something that people actually are experiencing, and that we're learning more about as we go.
I've had patients like earlier on in the pandemic where they were like having some of these experiences and they felt very gaslit because a lot of doctors were like, this doesn't exist. Like long COVID isn't a thing. And it very much is a thing. Even now, like that we still have to do all this other testing, even like for other things when you come in, that's not meant to diminish what you're experiencing or that it may very well be from COVID. It's really just to make sure we're treating the right thing. Some of the things that are very mild, like you can have like a runny nose and like a cough for like months after COVID. Do you really need a lot of intensive physical therapy for that? Probably not. And that's probably a good thing, that it's more like a wait and watch thing. Like hopefully like this is annoying that you have to be dealing with it, but there's no other real treatment. But they may also be like, oh, you're like having a runny nose, like maybe we'll just try like a nasal spray for a little bit and see how that helps. There's no harm bringing it up to your doctor if it's something that is bothering you. Definitely worth talking about. And even if it is like mild, but it's still, I feel like when it's anything with like heart and lungs, like I'm always like, I want to know with my patients, even if it is really mild, and especially like my older patients, definitely mention it to your doctor.
Are we thinking that long COVID is a lifetime issue? I guess it probably depends on what some of the symptoms are. We might not know, I would imagine.
Yeah, some people have said it can be very permanent. Like there are people who had COVID-19 in 2020 and then are still having those symptoms long term. Some people can have very debilitating symptoms. So because it's like such a large range, it's really hard to say. We really hope that even those people that are still having it, having symptoms, that there's something that comes up in the next few years or so of like that we're able to treat it. But right now, that is a possibility, which is also why it's so important to get vaccinated and to avoid this from happening, and to just talk to your doctor early too. I think part of it for people that were earlier on, like people didn't really know right after you had COVID. Like I said, people were a little gaslit and stuff. So it could have been something that even maybe like anti-inflammatory medications, even though it doesn't treat the virus itself, it could have maybe saved like and helped some of those organs a little bit more. Making sure you ask your doctor about it if you're really having ongoing symptoms. And if you notice that it's not just ongoing, but it's like not getting better, and especially if it's getting worse, you want to get that checked. It's really been hard to find real like results on like what is causing long COVID. That's going to take a longer time to get to. What we are able to do is create this vaccine, and we've tested it and we know it's safe and we know that it works. That's really why everyone keeps encouraging it, because that's like the only power we have right now. It'll probably take years until we're actually able to find out more about long COVID, because most illnesses that we see today have been around for many, many years, and all the medications you get, there's still ongoing research on like, cardiac failure and stuff. But that's been around since forever and we're still learning about it. But there's more research and more medications for those because we've been able to develop that over time. But it's taken lots of time, lots of years. 3 years since long COVID really started picking up, and 4 years since COVID. So it's very new in terms of like what we as a population will know about it.